वही पार्ट भी आ गया। रिकॉर्डिंग शुरू हो गई है।
जी सर।
बस 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 start। Today, I have already told you that the after the failure of another class, I want to cover this topic, that is the introduction, silent feature and object of the NDPS Act. And in the previous classes, I have already told you that at least 30 marks questions are mandatory from the NDPS Act, and especially it is a question is asked from the part, and without reading the NDPS Act, it is not possible to get the good marks. And here I have written the previous year question paper. You can observe these things. Regarding the leading cases, I have already told you that there are five leading cases which have been mentioned in your syllabus. And another case, which is the sixth case, that is the Ria Chakravarti versus Union of India through NCB. This is the landmark judgment which was decided by the special court and DPS just before some days. And in this case, this is well-known case nowadays, and everyone knows about fact of this case. That's why later on I will discuss the Ria Chakravarti versus Union of India case also, because our writing, reading, teaching, each and everything must be up to date rather than in the history. That's why this case is a very landmark case. Regarding the introductions, first of all, I want to tell you that I am going to discuss NDPS Act. NDPS means uh, NDPS means Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1985. Why? What was the reason this particular act was enacted? Reason of the enactment of this act was that there are three reasons of the enactment of this act was that first reason was the enactment of the Article 47 of the Constitution of India. Article 47 of the Constitution of India deals two parts, and according to the first part, it clearly says that it is a moral duty of the state to improve the health of the persons and to prohibit consumption of the drugs except for the medical purposes, except for the health. And this is the Article 47 of the Constitution of India. And whatever law has been enacted earlier to regulate the drugs in India, that were the Opium Act 1857. 1857 is also very famous in because this in this year there was a first revolt for the independence of the country, that is in the 1857. Opium Act IPC, Opium Act 1878, Dangerous Drugs Act 1913. These were several statutes which were governing, regulating consumption of the drugs, etc. As you know that later on, Section 82 of the NDPS Act clearly repealed Opium Act 1857, 1878, Dangerous Drugs Act 1930. It means all these acts were, but there was no uniformity, and due to the changing of the time, these were the insufficient. The point is that after the commencement of the Constitution of India, Article 47 was imposing the moral duty to regulate the drugs, and there were insufficient laws regarding the changing of the circumstances. And meanwhile, at the international levels, some international conventions were convened. In 1961, international conventions were convened to regulate the narcotic drugs, and in 1971, international conventions were convened, accepted to control the psychotic substances. It means 1961 controls only and only narcotic drugs, and 1971 controls only and only psychotropic substances. That's why, at the time of the enactment, our parliament enacted law by using power under Article 253 of the Constitution of India. Article 253 clearly imposes and says that in certain circumstances, Parliament can enact the law on those subject matters which have been mentioned in the state list. That's why, by using Power 253 for the implementation of the international conventions, in 1961 and 1971, Parliament enacted the Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act. Now, question is that what is the meaning of this act? At the time of meaning of this act, you can clearly say that there are two parts of this act. First part says that narcotic drugs, and second part talks about the psychotropic substances. Psychotropic. It means this particular act is a combination of two conventions. First point is that narcotic drugs, it covers international conventions, single international conventions convened in 1961. And the second part, that is the psychotropic substances, covers international conventions which were accepted in 1971. So my point is that, sorry, 1971. So my point is that NDPS covers two international conventions. One was 1961 and another was the 1961 and another was 1971. So that's why its name is narcotic drugs. Narcotic drugs is totally different from the psychotic substances act. Why narcotic drugs is totally different from the psychotic substances act? Because narcotic drugs, narcotics word has been derived from the Latin word that is the narcos. Narcos. Narcos means sleeping. It means narcotic drugs are those drugs which exceed your sleeping capacity. It means which lead for the sleeping. It means normal sleeping is 5 to 6 hours, but after consumption of the narcotic drugs, it will lead to 7, 8, 9, 12 like this. Later on, you may become a kumbhkarna, and after some days, you may die. The narcotic drugs is totally and totally related to the sleeping capacity of the human being. While the Psychotropic Substances Act talks about the emotion that is the love emotions like this quantity that affect the mental conditions, mood, thought, emotion, behavior, perceptions. That is a totally different things. And narcotic drugs, source of the narcotic drugs are the mainly plants, and these are the three plants: Coca-Cola leaves, coca, cannabis, opium, like this. While the source of the psychotropic substances, that is the natural as well as the synthetic. That's why now NDPS Act is very clear, and it becomes very clear that narcotics and psychotics covers two conventions, and it covers plants as well as other drugs. After this, we can realize that the reasons like these points, and on what particular date it was came into the force. I have already told you that this act came into the force on the 14th November 1985. Why the 14th November 1985? As you know that we try to celebrate birth anniversary of the legend leaders. And for the example, when the Jammu and Kashmir State Reorganization Act was enacted earlier, but it came into the force on the 31st October 19 on the 31st October. Why Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act came on the 31st October? Because this particular date is the birthday of the legend leader and who played unification of the country, that is the Mr. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. So that's why my point is that how to remember date of the enforcement of any particular enactment. You can remember this in this way. There are some regions, always there is some regions. Without the some regions, it is not possible to
सर
like
सर
this.
सॉरी टू डिस्टर्ब सर, कुछ बच्चे वेट कर रहे हैं सर, मैसेज आ रहा है।
आज तो बेटी करने देते तो बढ़िया रहता। चलो, पाठ कह दे तो कृष्ण कैसे इनकार कर सकता है? पाठ तो पाठ ही है। गायब कहाँ थे? 5 मिनट का टाइम इसीलिए दे रखा हूँ कि तुम ज्वाइन कर लिया करो। ओके, रो मत, अब मत रुकना। जो भी आने देना, जो छूट जाएगा छूट जाएगा।
जी सर, सॉरी।
हाँ, सुनाई, कोई बात नहीं, बढ़िया की हो। माय पॉइंट इज दैट सारी बात को सीरियसली मत लिया करो तुमसे। My point is that is the birth anniversary of some leaders, that is the legend leaders. So these are the basic reasons regarding these. Next point is that what are the salient features of the act? Regarding the salient features, I will discuss the salient feature of the act. Come to the what are the salient features? As you know that I have already told you that the NDPS is very important for the higher judiciary as well as in the other competitive exam like the APO of the Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. And this is the some technical barriers. That's why generally in the coaching they never discuss like this. You have to read yourself, and as you know that without knowing substance you cannot read and teach by heart. That's why after knowing the salient features you can know the whole structure of this particular act. What are the whole structure of this particular act? Because if you know the salient feature of any enactment, you will enjoy that that provisions at the right of the reading. एक मिनट, एक मिनट, एक मिनट। यार इंग्लिश में लिखा हुआ भी आ रहा है, कहीं से कुछ सेटिंग चेंज हो गई है। चलो हिंदी में बोलूंगा तो इसको भी लिख देगा। रुको 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 रुको,
सर एक कैप्शन ऑन हो गया है उनको।
चलो आने हो गया, ठीक है, कहीं से कुछ हो जाता है। फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज दैट here the salient feature, first salient feature of this act is that because this act covers two parts. First part covers narcotic drugs and second part covers the psychotic substance. This is the first salient feature of this act. Second part of this act is that second salient feature is that uh, it covers narcotic drugs, and narcotic drugs are prepared mainly with the three plants: cannabis, coca, and opium. As you know that might be some other unknown plants from which narcotic drugs may be prepared, but our statutory provisions covers only three types of plants, that is CCO, cannabis, coca, and opium. This is the another salient feature because narcotic drugs covers only these three types of plants. And these three types of plants, yesterday I told you that this is the cannabis, this is the coca, another is the opium. Another salient feature is that reformative theory. At the time of discussing the section 53 of the Indian Penal Code, we were always discuss some some theories regarding the punishment, but unfortunately, in syllabus of the DU, this chapter is missing. That's why we never discussed thoroughly. There are reformative theory. According to the reformative theory, every person must be given an opportunity to be reformed. It means our state must endeavor to promote reform rather than to detain, to punish like this. Our reformative theory talks about where reformative theory has been mentioned. There are several provisions, but especially section 64A. Section 64A of this act clearly says that if a person in certain circumstances has realized and he or she is interested to be reformed himself, herself, themselves, in this case state shall give some relaxations. For example, state will say that if you go and take the treatment from the authorized hospital in a regular basis without violating norms and conditions, and you recover in normal life, all the prosecution shall be withdrawn. It means state is giving an opportunity that whatever prosecution has been started against you, it will be stopped. Hello. अरे नहीं यार, अभी तुम अंग्रेजी में बोल रहे हो, बाद में बात करना, बाद में कॉल करो, क्या बोलना है. So my point is that here, that is the section 64 clearly gives an opportunity. हमें लगता है कि बाई चांस वहां से किसी का बच्चा कोई क्लास अटेंड ना कर पा रहा हो, इसलिए कॉल किया होगा. So my point is that reformative theory is that it clearly says that if the state will give the don't call me, I am taking the class. My point is that this is the reformative theory. It gives the opportunity, that is the section 64A. It clearly says that suppose that Mr. Ansul, had taken the ganja in the faculty of law and he started to become a habitual. One day someone made a complaint against him and he was arrested. Later on, he realized that, oh, I had committed a blunder mistake. And that's why one day I consulted him and some other authorities, and he became ready, sir, if you convince, I will return back. Then I made an application on her behalf as an advocate, and the state became ready that yes, if Ansul goes to that particular hospital and take the medicine in a proper manner with full course, and he doesn't violate any provisions, in that case, there will be no prosecution against him. That's why reformative theory section 64 is very important, because sometimes what happened in the rave party, what happened in the rave party? Rave party, suppose that 4 students are going, 1 student is not going. 4 other students will convince, oh, come, we will enjoy. There will be several girls, boyfriends, everyone is a modern life, come, enjoy it. Suppose that a Parth went at that place in the rave party. First time he went and he was most unluckiest person. And at that day he was arrested. In the rave party, he was arrested. Although he had consumed something, at the first attempt, he was arrested. Later on, he realized and he wrote an application, please give me an opportunity. I have my career. I am a student, like this. That's why state will give opportunity to him. That's why this will be very necessary. Otherwise, maximum people will be sent to jail, and a person's later on he can become a habitual offender. That's why purpose of state is to produce the citizen rather than to produce the criminals. That's why reformative theory has been inserted. These provisions has been inserted, especially persons who go into the rave party. Restriction on cultivation, sale, purchase, export, import, like this point is that. On these points, as is that I have clearly told you that these drugs, these plants, is also useful for the medicines, but at the same times, this is very dangerous. At the same time, these are the very dangerous. कहाँ है शिवानी लेट यार?
जी सर।
तुम नहीं, कई शिवानी हो गई हैं इसमें देखता हूँ. Someone was late. So my point is that this is the reformative theory. Restrictions on cultivation, sale, purchase. I have already told you that these plants are not only dangerous. These plants are not dangerous. Sometimes these are dangerous and sometimes these are used for the medicine. It means there are two parts. It means these plants can be utilized for the development of the humanity, for the development of the nation, as well as worst persons can utilize to destroy the nation, can utilize to destroy the generation of the country. So my point is that this production of ganja, production of cannabis, coca, and opium is also necessary, but it must be regulated. So that's why for this, for the cultivation, sale, and purchase, there are generally 3 sections: section 8, 9, 10. Section 8, 9, 10. What is the section 8, 9, 10? Section 8, 9, 10 can be understood in a better manner. Here the section 8, 9, 10. What is the section 8? We will start the section 8. There are two parts of the section 8. One is the rule, another is the exception. What is the rule? Rule is that no one can cultivate, sell, purchase, manufacture, export, import, possess like this. It means in normal rule is that best idea to read the bare acts, to best idea to read the law, always divide any provisions into two parts. What is the rule, what is the exceptions? Once a student who is in a position to divide law into two parts, he will be best scholar in the law field. एक मिनट होल्ड करना तो. तृप्ति, मेरे मोबाइल दे दो. वाइफ का भी क्लास चल रहा है, हमारा भी क्लास चल रहा है, हिमन भी परेशान कर दिया उसको. So my point is that section 8 talks about the rule. Rule is that I was saying that only that person is the best scholar in the law field who is capable to make every provisions into two parts. What is the rule? What is the exceptions? Here must be exception. Yes, I am missing. Please part note down. Exceptions, that is the plural. Yes. The rule is that no cultivation, sale, purchase like this. But what are the exceptions? Exceptions are, there are four exceptions. Two exceptions have been mentioned under section 8. Third exceptions have been mentioned under section 9. And fourth exception has been mentioned under section 10. That it means, in this way we can say that these are the in one part, this is the separate part, this is the separate part. What is the first exception? First exception is that such cultivation, sale, purchase, manufacturing of cannabis, coca, opium, other things can be done. Cultivate, sale, purchase, consume can be done. But why? Only for the medical purposes. The first exception is the medical purpose. And this medical purpose must be read in the context of the Article 47. I should have written here is that Constitution. Part note down here is that I have to write here Constitution. Article 47 of Constitution. So my point is that medical purpose, and that is the section 18 and section 8. Sorry, section 8 is in consonance of Article 47. Section 8 is in consonance of Article 47 of the Constitution of India. So this is the first exception. Second exception is that scientific purpose. Second exception is that scientific purposes. For the scientific purposes, sale, cultivations like this, it is a possible. Third exception is that with permission of the central government. With permission of the central government. You can take license from the central government. If central government gives permission for cultivation, for selling, for purchasing like this of these narcotic drugs or substances, then everything is possible. Because you are doing in a legal manner with prior permission. That's why that is the good. That is the fourth. Third. And fourth is that with permission of the state governments. With the permission of the state government, you can also use this point. Now point becomes very clear that one exception is that section 8, another exception is that section 8, another exception is section 9, another exception is section 10. These are the four exceptional circumstances when production, sale, purchase, cultivation of the narcotic drugs and psychotic substances is possible. Okay, wait, देखो 4 minute कर रहा हूँ. Yes, everyone is complete. My point is that come to the point. We are discussing the silent feature. We have discussed first silent feature, two parts. Second silent feature, narcotic drugs, only cannabis, coca, opium. Third silent feature, reformative theory. Fourth silent feature, that is the restriction on cultivations like these points. That is the next point is the deterrent theory. Deterrent theory is that, what is the deterrent theory? It means persons must be deterred so that he cannot commit the offense in the future. I have some doubt whether it is deterrent theory or retributive theory. I think deterrent theory is good. Deterrent theory. Section 31A, which was inserted later on. As you know that our drugs, illegal drugs are very dangerous for the country. It can destroy whole economy of the country. In this world, three illegal activities are very dangerous. And although you can earn a huge amount, but that is totally immoral. First is that, I may be wrong something. The first is that human trafficking. Second is that drugs. Third is the arms. Might be some interchange either and either, I am not sure. But these three, first is the human trafficking, second is the arms dealings in the world, and third is the drugs. These are the illegal activity and these are the very dangerous. That's why later it was realized that no. In some cases, a person must be punished up to the death sentence. There are certain circumstances which have been mentioned in section 31A. As per my knowledge, there is only one section in the NDPS which deals death sentence in one case. So that is the section 39. 31A is based on the deterrent theory. Next point is that division of the punishment. Division of punishment is also important point. Division of punishment, I earlier told you that a division of punishment under the NDPS Act is on the basis of the quantity of the narcotic drugs or psychotic substances. Quantity. Quantity, what is the meaning of quantity? How types of quantity? In NDPS Act itself says that there are three types of quantity. NDPS Act itself says that there are three types of quantity. First quantity, small quantity. First quantity is that is the small quantity. Second is that commercial quantity. First is small and second is the commercial. And third is which is neither come under the category of small quantity nor come under the commercial quantity. You can use like transgender. For example, small quantity, male, commercial quantity, that is the female, and transgender, which is neither completely male nor completely the female. It has a combination of both. That's why it is called a transgender community. कई बार तुम लोग देखते हो कि लड़के भी इतना बाल पार्डन पार्डन
सर आपकी आवाज रिफ्लेक्ट की थी सर, कोई बोला नहीं सर।
अच्छा अच्छा। समटाइम्स कभी कभी देखते हैं ना लड़के भी इतना बाल बढ़ा लेते हैं कि पीछे से देखकर कंफ्यूजन हो जाता है कि लड़की चल रही है कि लड़का चल रहा है. So my point is that I am not saying that they come under the category of transgender, but sometimes it may be they try to show that they neither come under the category of male nor come under the category of female. They try to cover in middle area. So that's why this is said that there are three types of punishment which depends upon the small quantity, that is the middle quantity and commercial quantity. Middle word has not been used under the NDPS Act. Only two words have been used, small and commercial. Regarding this part, quote NDPS Act clearly says that those quantities which is more than small, less than commercial, for that. And regarding the punishment, I have already told you that basic difference between the small and commercial quantity is that in the small quantity, offenses is bailable. Generally, some exceptions might be that. Generally, punishment up to 1 year. Offense is bailable, but in the commercial quantity, generally, but some exceptions might be that. Generally, offense is non-bailable. Punishment is more than 10 or 10 years. But in the case of middle, like the same, punishment is some cases may be bailable, non-bailable. Some cases may be punishment more than 10 years like this. These are the regarding the presumption of guilty mind and beyond the reasonable doubt. This is the seventh salient feature of this particular act. Regarding the presumption of guilty mind, as you know that as a criminal law students and teachers, I have always to make comparison between two laws. In the IPC, we always say that it is the common law notion and presumption that every person is presumed innocence unless he is convicted. Unless he is convicted. But in the media trial, even before arrest, person is declared convicted. Before arrested, someone started to abuse. What is this? And later on, what would be happened if he is declared innocent? What happened in the landmark judgment? In that judgment, there was a scientist, ISRO scientist. What happened in 1967-98? India was leading much more. And foreigner countries realized that after some years that will be at the higher rank. That's why they made a conspiracy, and by making a conspiracy, one landmark scientist, one legend scientist, was declared as a traitor. It was clearly said that he was sharing information to another country. And our politicians are also cunning. After taking the money with the help of media at the time of 1967-98, at that time, everyone declared that that scientist has committed a crime against the country, dhokebaz like this. His whole career ruined after the 20 years, that is just before 6 or 7 months. Honorable Supreme Court acquitted him and clearly scolded other persons, and 50 lakhs compensations were awarded to that scientist. So my point is that being a law student, always control yourself, and presumption is that under the IPC, presumption is that person is innocent unless and until he is convicted. But in the NDPS, just reverse to the IPC. In the NDPS, it is presumed that person is a guilty mind. Person has committed a crime. That's why is that point. That's why in this way, I will make a compare. In the IPC, point is that, see, come to the compare, it will be very easy for you. In the IPC, presumption is presumption of the innocence. But in the NDPS is that presumption of commission of crime, because 35 class 1, it clearly says that courts shall, not may, courts shall presume that the person has committed crime with guilty mind. It means burden of proof will lies over the accused to disprove. It means on the point of presumption, IPC and NDPS both are totally different. In the case of proof, in the IPC, prosecutor must prove beyond the reasonable doubt. Because first of all, in the case of IPC, burden will lies over the prosecutor. But in the case of NDPS, burden of proof will lies over the accused. Here, suppose that in the IPC, a prosecutor has proved beyond reasonable doubt, then accused will get opportunity to disprove that reasonable doubt. In that case, if accused is in a position to prove merely preponderance of probabilities, that is the sufficient. It means in the IPC, accused, if the accused prove only preponderance of probabilities, that is sufficient. But in the NDPS, accused must prove beyond reasonable doubt. And next line of section 35 class 2 clearly says that preponderance of probabilities is not sufficient. It means 35 class 2 is a 2 lock. First lock says that 2 lock होता है ना, ताला जो होता है, 2 खटके का ताला होता है, एक बार बंद करते हैं फिर दोबारा बंद कर देते हैं, तो मतलब double security like this. In this case, 35 class 2 clearly says that accused must prove beyond reasonable doubt, and mere proving preponderance of probabilities is not sufficient. Much more clear. After comparing the IPC and NDPS, it becomes very clear. Come to the another feature, that is the 9th feature, special court. What is a special court? What is the difference on this point regarding the IPC and the CRPC? IPC, CRPC and NDPS. IPC, substantive, and the procedural part for that IPC is the CRPC. If you see the first schedule of the CRPC, you can easily find out that several offences of the IPC can be tried by the judicial magistrate second class, by the first class, by the court of session, by the additional, like this. It means under the IPC, lower to higher court is authorized for the trial. But in the NDPS Act, it is not possible. In the NDPS Act, only special court can try the case. Only special court can try the case. I have sent in group name of the leading case Ria Chakravarti versus Union of India. Read the second line. Who had decided the case? In the second line, second heading is that special court bracket NDPS. It means, as you know, that special courts are constituted under several laws. For example, special courts are also constituted under the SC/ST Atrocities Act. Special courts are also constituted under the Dowry Prohibition Act. Special courts are also constituted under another statutes. That's why special court bracket NDPS. So that's why it is my request. Please see the name of the NDPS Act like this. So my point is that this is the special court. Here the provision is the special court. Why provision is special court? For the purpose of the speedy trial. What is the purpose of special court? What is the purpose of constituting the special court? Only and only to speedy trial. It has been clearly mentioned in the bare provisions. If you see the footnote number 8, that is section 36, talks about the constitution of the special court. Regarding the next point is that cognizable offences, non-billable offences. In the NDPS Act, all offences are cognizable. All offences are cognizable. And what is the cognizable? Cognizable offences are those offences. ब्रीफ में एक लाइन सिंपल बता देता हूं. Cognizable offences are those offences in which police can arrest without warrant. Non-bailable offences are those offences in which bail may be granted, but no one can claim as a matter of right. That's why in the NDPS, all offences are cognizable, but regarding the bail, some offences are bailable, some offences are non-bailable. That's why in the case of Ria Chakravarti, she claimed bail because in the NDPS Act, for the small offences, for the small quantity of drugs, bail may be granted. So my point is that regarding the cognizable, all offences are cognizable, but regarding the bail are two types under the NDPS, that is the bailable as well as non-bailable. These are the provisions. Regarding the publication of name and residence, publication of names and residence. As you know that if you read IPC, if I am not wrong, I think section 228A protects publication of the name, address of the rape victim. That is talking about the rape victim. Here, publication of name and residence of the accused. Only those accused who have been convicted. In certain cases, in case of conviction, name of the accused and residence may be published. What happened before some days in the Uttar Pradesh? In the Uttar Pradesh, during the protest of the NRC and some other protest, there were destructions of the public property. No one will be allowed to destroy the public property even in any circumstances. Either he is a Hindu, Muslim, whatever might be that. Because public property is constructed by the taxpayer and for the benefit of the public. That is the good. But what happened in that case? State government started to advertise their names, merely sending a notice, executive notice. Executive always takes a decision on the basis of politics. Any party, executive is taking the decisions, always they take the decision on the basis of politics. That's why immediately Lucknow bench took the cognizance and passed an order against the government and passed judgment and clearly directed that all the advertisement, all the hoardings must be removed within 2 hours or 24 days, I don't know. Like that. That was the direction. My point is that yes, you can do after the convictions, but before the convictions, you can't do publicize in this matter, because it might be that name of some person has been put wrongly. There are several types of that. But here in the case of publication of name and residence, only and only in the case of conviction. In the case of conviction, rather than merely on the basis of information, rather than merely on the basis of residence and then arrest. So this is the another important point. This is the special feature. Only this particular act talks about the publication of name and residence. Another point is that, as you know that regarding the rich people who have deposited black money in the other countries, every politicians, irrespective of their parties, do same things. चोर चोर मौसेरा भाई वाली बात है. Court again and again say that please publish their name, publish their name, publish their name, publish their name. Nothing has been published. If your dues, if your electricity bill or loan for 1 month, 2 months is dues, officers will reach at your home. They will demand money of loan. They will harass you. But what happened? Once you have taken crores of rupees, no one is coming to ask. So my point is that this is a special feature publication of name and residence. Next point, arrest and production before the magistrate. What happened is that this is a special law. And I have already told you that what is the meaning of special law. Section 42 of the Indian Penal Code define the word special law. And according to combined reading of section 541 and NDPS Act, it becomes very clear that NDPS is a special law, because NDPS has been enacted on the subject matter of drugs. According to section 42 of the CRPC, special laws are those laws which are enacted on the special subjects. So that's why this particular act is the special act. Regarding the CRPC, relation between the CRPC and NDPS, NDPS clearly says that in case of the controversy, in the case of inconsistency between NDPS and CRPC, NDPS will prevail. But where NDPS is silent and CRPC is vocal, in that circumstances, provisions of CRPC will be borrowed. Okay, what happened in the under the NDPS Act? There is a provision for the arrest. But within how much times that arrested persons must be produced before the magistrate? On that point, NDPS is silent. In that case, we have to take help of the CRPC and Constitution. According to several provisions of the CRPC and Article 22, Class 2 of the Constitution of India, it becomes very clear that once a person has been arrested and still he is in custody, he must be produced before the magistrate within 24 hours. So my point is that even a person has been arrested under the NDPS Act, he must be produced within the 24 hours before the magistrate, because this is the fundamental right, and no laws, including the special law, can go against the fundamental rights. Any law which go against the fundamental right, up to that extent, not whole act, up to that extent, that law will be applied. The arrest and production before the magistrate, within how much time? Within 24 hours. Regarding the report of arrest and seizure, report of arrest and arrest both are different things. Report of arrest must be submitted within 24 hours to senior police officers. Why immediate senior police officer? So that any person cannot misuse provisions of the NDPS, even he is the police authority. So my point is that regarding the arrest, person must be produced within 24 hours. Regarding the submission of report of arrest, of 48 hours, that is another point. Come to the power. अब बचा हुआ हो भाग ही रहेंगे यार, आज जाने की जिद ना करो। कैसे हो? बहुत बढ़िया से गाना है। इतना प्रेशर तुम लोग को पढ़ाने का है कि जिंदगी एकदम बस चल रही है, किसी दिन एक दिन ना पढ़िए तुरंत
सर
बेइज्जती हो जाती है। क्या कह रहे हो?
सर आराम से पढ़ाइए सर, आप टेंशन मत लीजिए।
नहीं, टेंशन तो को अंतरात्मा से ही दुख होता है। मैं डरता तो किसी से नहीं हूँ, लेकिन अपने अंतरात्मा से डरता हूँ कि यार क्या कर रहे हो तुम। बाकी तो साल भर में देख ही लिए होगे, जो करना होता है वही करता हूँ, चाहे क्लास लेना हो चाहे छोड़ना हो चाहे जो करना हो। लेकिन अपने खुद से डर लगता है कि क्या कर रहे हो। कम टू द पॉइंट ऑफ द पॉइंट नंबर 14। That is the point is that comment एक that is the point, that is the 24 hours, and here that is the 48 hours. Power to tender immunity from prosecutions. This is a very important point. How this is very important? In the one line you can understand in the CRPC. CRPC section 306 to 308 talks about tendering of the pardon. 306 to 308 talks about tendering of the pardon. And under the Indian Evidence Act talks about the accomplice 133. One day Bhaskar asked one question which was based on the combined reading of the section 64 and another provisions. I hope that in the next class I will reply the answer of the Bhaskar. I may take too much time, I am not sure, but I will reply. Wait, Bhaskar. So my point is that in the CRPC, why pardon is granted? Why pardon is granted? Pardon is granted to find out the truth. When there is no evidence, there is no clue, and matter is high profile. Police is not getting any clue how to arrest, how to investigate. Third example, in the case of Mr. Sushant Singh Rajput, government may announce that if anyone give clue, that person's he is a secondary criminal, secondary evidence, he may be given pardon. Might be in future, court or government might use such types matters. So my point is that in the case of 306 and 8 talks about the pardon and same and similar provisions. NDPS also deals. It means NDPS combined reading of section 64 and CRPC 306 to 8 clearly says that if any person who is ready to give truth about the commission of crime, he will be given some relaxation, he will be given tender of pardon. That's why this is the silent features on this point. Come to the object of the NDPS Act. What was the object of the NDPS Act? As you know that, although here object I have not written in very detail, but in one line, please parts note down one line what was the object. You can note down one point. In the object, we can say that this NDPS Act was enacted to fulfill duties mentioned under Article 47 of the Constitution of India. This is the main object of this particular act. The first object of this act is that to fulfill, to compliance of Article 47 of the Constitution of India. Second object, which can be inferred from the reading of the section 4 of the particular act. Section 4 of the act says that purpose of this is that preventing and combating abuse of narcotics and psychotic substances and illicit traffic. Preventing, combating, and what narcotics and psychotics as well as illicit traffic, and another is that ensuring their medical and scientific purpose. It means there are two objects. First part, to control such drugs so that it cannot be misused. This is this point, and another point is that to ensure medical and scientific purpose. This is our inference on the basis of section 4 of this particular act. Another object can be inferred from the Karnal Singh versus State of Haryana case. In this case have been mentioned in your syllabus. I will discuss also thoroughly. But in the brief, you can say that this particular act was enacted in compliance of international conventions, because India was signatories of both international conventions, that is the international single international conventions on narcotics drugs 1961 and international conventions 1971 on the psychotic substances. So that's why object of this particular statute, enactment of this statute, was to fulfill international duties, international norms like this. And second object of this act is that, which have been mentioned in the Karnal Singh case, to make the coordination among all these laws. So these are the points. NDPS Act, it can be used, that is the medicine purposes, and if it is misused, it may destroy the generation to generation, it may destroy the country. What is the basic of such, what is the salient feature of such type of drugs? If you are taking at a huge amount, it may become, you may become habitual, and after day by day, your day dose will increase day by day. So these are the basic features. I hope that all of you have enjoyed this class.
सर सर एक क्वेश्चन था सर
हाँ बोलिए।
सर सेक्शन 35 जो है सर इस एक्ट का एनडीपीएस का, इसके पीछे रीजन क्या है सर इस तरह का प्रिजम्पशन रखने का? क्योंकि क्रिमिनल लॉ में तो सर हम लोग प्रिजम्पशन गिल्टी माइंड का नहीं रखते हैं जनरली।
हाँ देखो, तुम्हारा क्वेश्चन बहुत ही जायज है। इसका आंसर जहां तक मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है उसमें मैं परफेक्ट नहीं हूँ, ये मैं पहले ही सोच लिया था, क्योंकि कुछ बच्चों ने क्वेश्चन, जैसे मैं फेसबुक पर डालता हूँ ना, तो कुछ अच्छे अच्छे क्वेश्चन भी बच्चों ने पूछ लेता है, तो उसका क्वेश्चन का मैंने रिप्लाई क्या दिया था। क्वेश्चन ये है कि एज यू नो दैट आईपीसी which is based on the common law. IPC is based on the common law. At the initial stage, when the common law developed day by day, at that time, state was much more stronger. State has a prosecutor body, police, investigating agency. Each and everything was in the hand of the state. And on another side, victim was very weaker. Victim was weaker. It means whenever there was a fighting between the state and individual, state was much more stronger. So that's why, to protect the citizens from the strong states, some presumptions were developed in the favor of the weaker section, that is the citizens. What happened at that time? That was followed. But later on, it was realized that a persons, and in the IPC, whatever offences are committed, that affects 1%, 2%, 10%, 1,000 persons, maximum like this. It means such types. But what happened? In the case of narcotic drugs, psychotic substances? Here, accused are very sophisticated. They are very modern. They have huge amount, huge resources, and they can destroy the economy of the country. They can destroy generation of generation. So that's why it was realized that under the NDPS Act, accused are not weaker. Accused are not weaker. They have stronger positions, and it is a need to convict much more such persons who are involved in such illegal activities. It means it was a method to make NDPS more harsher than any other law. इस प्रोविजन के आने से आईपीसी के कंपैरिजन में एनडीपीएस बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रांग हो चुका है, because normally it is found that a person who is in a position, a person who generally lose the case, on whom burden of proof lies. So my point is that this act was enacted to make much more harsher to in comparison to other law, because under this act, one person can destroy the economy generation at one time. It can affect crores of peoples. That's why this was the reason, as per my knowledge. क्या लग रहा है, ठीक ठाक बोला हूँ कि नहीं, ये बताओ।
सही था सर।
तुम सब
सही है, सही है।
लग रहा है ना,
सर,
यही हो सकता है। हाँ
यस
सर डेथ सेंटेंस कैसे केसेस में देते हैं सर? सर जैसे कल एक आदमी को कर्नाटक में पकड़ा सर, उसके पास वो 4 एकड़ के लैंड पे पूरा मैरिजुआना उगा रहा था और 10,000 किलो गांजा मिला उसके पास, तो
10,000
उसको डेथ सेंटेंस दे सकते हैं प्राइम जस्टिस पे?
हाँ, under section 31A, there are some conditions have been mentioned, and I have not read in the detail that sections. Okay, so and you
Okay, sir,
read
okay.
31A, and there are certain conditions, and if you are unable to understand any provisions of 31, I can reply tomorrow. That is very easy.
ठीक है सर।
Okay.
ओके सर,
Yes. Okay, I think
थैंक यू
today
सर।
class that is a good enjoy.